time for the Straight Up Wrestling Show.
What's up, everybody? It's HBT with Straight Up Wrestling Show, man. I am here live, guys. Right now, I'm here by myself, but Mr. Christopher Burton will be joining me soon. But, guys, I am here, guys, and I'm going to talk about, a few different things here. Hey, we're going to talk about what's going on in the world of wrestling, and I'm talking about the last 3 years, man. We've been doing this thing for 3 years. The Straight Up Wrestling Show has been on, rocking it for 3 years, and I've been a wrestling fan, man, believe it or not, all the way back to 1972. I'm not going to say I was a wrestling fan at the time. I was a wrestling fan ever since 1975, but I've been watching since like 71, 72, when I was like 4 years old on up, man. So, hey, I'm in my 50s now, late 50s. So, yeah, I've been watching wrestling for a long time. And basically, we're going to break down for you what wrestling is about today and how we feel about it. Hey, I thought I was going to be doing this on my own, but Christopher Burton decided that he wanted to be a part of this. So, man, I'm going to talk about what wrestling offers today. What is it offering us? Anything that we get involved in man, anything that we like, we want them to offer us something. If we're a consumer, if we like something, if we're buying into something, we want them to offer us something and continue to offer us something. If we're a football fan, we want them to continue to offer us great football action. Our team to offer us a competitive team, something that we can look forward to, a team that can make it to the playoffs or something like that. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for basketball players, the NBA, to continue to supply us with great basketball players. Give us the Dr. J's, give us the Larry Birds, give us the Magic Johnsons, give us the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, give us the LeBron James, give us the Michael Jordans, the Charles Barkleys. Give us those kind of players, man, and we want to see great basketball action, the dunks, the three-point shooting, or whatever it is. Baseball, man. You want players to come along like the great Pete Rose, Babe Ruth, Henry Aaron, Reggie Jackson, Steve Largent. You want those players, man. Hey, I know I'm not naming any Ken Griffin Jr., Barry Bonds. I know I'm not naming too many, players now. I don't really watch it like I used to, but in baseball, we want to continue to see great teams. We want to see great pitchers. We want to see great hitters, people that can knock the ball out the park and whatever to keep us going. So, guys, whatever we into, we want them to continue to supply us with something great. If you're a fan of music, you want to say you're a fan of Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers, before he passed away, rest in peace to my man Kenny Rogers, my favorite country singer. Kenny Rogers. I was a fan of Kenny Rogers. I expected and I wanted him to continue to give me great country music, man. Something that I can wrap my head around, really get into. Let's talk about some rap music. Rap music. Always been a big fan of rap music. So rap music gave us Run DMC. They gave me Houdini. They gave me the Fat Boys. They gave me the Beastie Boys. They gave me LL Cool J. They gave me Ice Cube, NWA, Snoop Dogg. Let's see, it goes on and on all the way up until this time right now, man. Hey, I don't like a lot of the current rappers, but I will name a few: Drake, Kenny, Kendrick Lamar, and people like that who continue to put out very good music. But for the most part, man, all of it came out in the 80s and 90s was the best rappers. You had your Jay-Z's, you had your Nas and things like that. And I'm like, hey, give me some more. What is rap music offering the kids today? Is it more than just sex, violence, and rims and things like that? And whatever, twerking and all that garbage. What is rap music offering the kids today? What is wrestling offering us today, guys? That's the question that I have right now. And, man, that's the questions I want to get into. And you guys, you want to come in and you want to talk about it, hey, I want you guys to tell me what you think wrestling is offering us today. I know Matthew Collins earlier was on and he saw something that I had wrote about this. I was talking about this subject. I had put something up and he said somebody had put out that wrestling for the last 10 years has been garbage or whatever. He's completely wrong or whatever. I'm not really going to say what a guy, I think he's wrong. It hasn't been garbage, especially like the 3 years that we have been doing it. It's been pretty good. I will say that. but wrestling has a problem. It has a big problem, and I'm talking all the way from WWE, all the way to AEW, down to TNA, down to the NWA. Even though they bringing back the regional territories, they trying to do that. MLW and the Indies or whatever, they all have a problem, guys. And that's something that I want to address. And that's why I'm saying wrestling offers. This is what wrestling is offering us. Now, I couldn't put I had more description of what I wanted to say as far as the title go, but wrestling offer us right now. This is what they're offering, guys. They're offering tournaments. They're offering specialty matches. They offering monthly pay-per-views or PLEs, constant mic chatter, and interviews. That's what we getting. That's what we're getting. And it all boils down to chaos. When it boils down to it, guys, what is wrestling offering us today? That's what I'm saying. What is wrestling offering us today? As a fan, as a consumer of the sport, you want wrestling to offer you something, man. And so that's what I'm saying. What is wrestling offering us today? And let me go ahead and jump into some of these comments here. All right, my man Charity was the first one on. Says hi, NXT WWE Carl's Jr. and Hardy's. Yeah, what's going on, Hardy? Lucas, we know you love that Hardy's, man. Carl's Jr. Yeah, that's Hardy's. But we know you love that. All right, my man Jordan Payne says, hey guys, what's going on, Jordan Payne? And like I said, Christopher Burton will be in here just a minute. He haven't eaten all day, I think, and he's getting something to eat, and he'll be on. You say, hey guys, Jordan says, all right, my man WW J-Rock. What's up, J-Rock? What's up? Says, sup, bro? J-Rock is in the house. Good to see you, man. AJ Scale say, hey, Harry, like WWE and AEW, also TNA Impact Wrestling. Yes, sir. My man Mag Magnum says, greetings, Harry. What's up, Mag? What's up? Jordan Payne says, I'm 32. All I remember, WCW, that was bought. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got J-Rock. Yeah, J-Rock is in the house. I appreciate you coming in. 100%, man. And how you been doing? All right, Jordan Payne says, about all I remember. All right, Jordan Payne says, Derek Jeter, Chipper Jones. Yes, sir. I don't know why in the world I didn't name them. There's two of the most famous in the last 25 years is Derek Jeter and Chipper Jones, A-Rod, and people like that, man. But, hey, I just haven't really watched. Like I said, I haven't watched baseball in a long time, but I was watching when those guys were playing, Mark McGwire and all those guys. Straight up. Let's see. And I'm a soft rock guy. Journey, Phil Collins, the Eagles. Oh yeah, man. Phil Collins, man, that's one of my favorite all time. He's got to be one of my top 5. Phil Collins, Journey. I love Journey. The Eagles was great. My man Lucas says hi. But yeah, let me go ahead over here so I won't have to bend down to look at this as far as getting these comments or whatever. But yeah, let me go ahead. All right, just 1 second, guys. But yeah, I love Phil Collins, man. Studio. I mean, I can feel it in the air tonight, man. You get no better than Phil Collins. One of the greatest songwriters, one of the greatest artists of all times. No ends, ands, or buts about that. But yeah, basically, like I say, man, I'm just laying it out. And Chris will be on in just a little bit, and I have asked him questions about this. But this right here is something that I'm ready to get into. I'm ready to dive into it. So hopefully he gets his eat on and he gets into it, gets in here, and we'll be able to talk about this, man. And if you coming on, this is the first time you've been on the Straight Up Wrestling Show, or if you've been on here a good bit or whatever, come on, you see this, man, hit that like, share, join. If you on Facebook, if you on YouTube, man, you hit that like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding, 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 so you know when we're on, like times like these. And if you are on Twitch, you do the same thing. Hit that like, share, tweet. And no, that's on X, guys. Formerly known as like, share, tweet, and retweet. Over on Twitch, you do the same thing that you do over here on YouTube. Hit that like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding, ding, ding. So you know when we're on, like times like these, man. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Guys, like I say, I'm waiting for Christopher Burton to come in. I do not want him to miss this. I don't want him to miss things that I'm saying because I have to go all the way back and go over it. But yes, man, we Monday Night Raw this week. We done Wednesday night. We did Dynamite. Now I did not do NXT. Now NXT is something I missed for the last couple of weeks. I do want to go back and check out NXT, man. Love NXT. Lots of great action, lots of great things going on NXT. So I have to come back and catch up on the NXT action. I don't want to just go watch highlights or go and read what happened. I want to go and check out the full show because NXT is definitely worth it 100%, man. they are worth it. And today is the anniversary, the 37th anniversary of the NWA War Games. NWA 37 years ago, they had the War Games, guys, and you had teams like the Road Warriors was in it, Sting, Lex Luger, Nikita Koloff, people like that was in it. Great War Games, as far as I remember. But to me, they have not topped the first 2 or 3 War Games. That was incredible. Those, you talking about some real man in real action. The War Games was something special. And this episode right here is being brought to you by Coca-Cola. You know, Coca-Cola, you really can't see that. But yeah, Coca-Cola. So zero sugar, man, zero sugar. But yeah, no ins, ands, or buts about it. Yeah, Attitude Era reboot. Yes, they are talking about having an Attitude Era reboot. I don't care anything about it, and I will tell you a little bit about that. Why I don't care about it. Chris will be coming on, and I think Chris do like it because Chris was, you know, he was a young guy. He just had got out of high school, teenager. I remember when it was all going on. We worked at the same place. Chris and a lot of our friends, you know, the younger guys, man, they was really into it. The younger people at our job, they was really into this thing, the Attitude Era. And yes, it was a big thing. But, you know, it came off of that NWO thing that Eric Bischoff was running over there in the WCW. And yes, WWE had to counteract that. So that led into that Attitude Era, which I did not care about. Yes, one thing, you know, I will say this. Yes, wrestling was great at that time, but what people don't really consider is this. The reason the Attitude was Era because you had great stars. Do they have stars that could replicate what happened back then during the Attitude Era? You had great stars to play off. Do you have those type of stars right now? Do you have those type of personalities to play off of that great Attitude Era? And that's one thing that we will be talking about. All right, my man Jordan says 0 calories, I mean, laugh out loud. 0 taste, laugh out loud. 0 calories, I mean, laugh out loud too. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's got taste, but yeah, 0 calories. No calories, man. And none of that sugar, but it does have a sweetener in it, there's no doubt. All right. Had a little burp there, man, but yeah, hopefully Christopher Burton will come in just a little bit, guys. I do not want to get into this without Christopher Burton being in here, but it looks like I may have to do that. But I really don't want to get into doing that, man. But like I said, check out this magazine if you can see it. If you can see the players on here, if you can see it, man. Like I say, I do have a virtual picture up here, man. Who's that on the cover right there? Who's that on the cover? That's Sting. Lex Luger, Sting and Hulk Hogan. I'm sorry. Superstar Summit, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, September 1993, guys. September 1993. And I mean, these guys, this was back when wrestlers were bigger than life. And that's what we're looking for today. And yeah, Christopher Burton has got to get in here. Soon because, man, I do have to go over, start what this thing is about. You know, I can't just continue to talk and not talk about what this thing is about, man. But yeah, I got to get greedy of this thing. So, man, let me go ahead and start and talk about what I need to be talking about. Like I said, wrestling offers us tournament, guys. They offer us tournaments. They offer us specialty matches, monthly pay-per-view, constant mic chatter, and interviews. What do we see? What is the main thing? What is the first thing that we see when we turn on our television set to watch a wrestling show? Doesn't matter if it's a WWE Raw on Monday nights. Doesn't matter if it's NXT on Tuesday nights. Doesn't matter if it's AEW Dynamite on Wednesday nights. Doesn't matter if it's TNT on Thursday nights. Doesn't matter if it's SmackDown on Friday nights. Doesn't matter if it's Collision on Saturday night. 90% of the time, first thing they start off with is an interview. Long, drawn-out interview. And I tell you what, in most of these interviews, the majority of these interviews, I have to say, 85 to 92% of these interviews drives us nowhere when it boils down in wrestling. It doesn't. It drives us nowhere. I like a lot of the interviews. I love a lot of the interviews. I will say that. But when it boils down to it, it gets us nowhere. If you're going to have a big-time interview in the middle of the ring, in the center of the ring, to start off a wrestling show, then that interview needs to lead to things that are going to be great. Not saying that it doesn't lead to great matches, because we have a lot of great matches that these things lead to. But if you're gonna get in the ring and you're gonna get on the microphone and you're gonna just yap your jaws over and over again, that should lead to a great storyline. It should build feuds, rivalries, something, man, that we can hang our hat on, because at the end of the day, and we can say, hey, man, that was all worth it. That right there is one of the reasons that we watch wrestling, because we went down this road. We saw MJF get in there and talk about what he is going to do to the Butcher or whatever, or Blade. And this right here led to something great that, hey, he's telling Butcher that you lost your shit. You used to be great. You used to be intimidating. You didn't care nothing about these fans. Then you start caring about the fans and everything, and you pretty much out here taking care of business. But MJF is going to put the stop to that, because I am the devil, or whatever he wants to say. And, hey, and I'm better than you, or whatever. That right there should lead to something, man. It should lead to something great. It should lead to something like we see in football, man, a playoff run. And then, MJF goes and runs the table, and anybody else tries to stop him when he's wrestling up against the Butcher. If Butcher wants to put out a bounty on him or whatever, and the Blade comes after him, or Butcher have, let's see who else out there that's a heel. I mean, you can have somebody like, say, Pac could be a heel or whatever, come try to take him out, or somebody come out before the Butcher actually get a hold of him in some big grand finale, some big, like an all out or whatever. But you have him taking on the Butcher, man, in a series of matches in different spots, not every week, but in different spots, maybe for 3 or 4 months. And then it ends up in a culmination at the big show where it's a knockdown, drag out. And that's where you have your specialty matches, man. You don't have your specialty matches every single week just to try to, because you're not going to do it. And those specialty matches becomes to where they mean nothing, nada, complete. That's all it is to it. Straight up. All right, let me get to Jordan Payne, man. All right, man, I got a lot of comments here. Excuse me. Jordan Payne said, I'm disgusted about the 2025 uncensored era. Hey, Jordan, we will have to wait and see how long that lasts, and have to see how bad it actually is. To tell you the truth, it might not be what we think it's going to be. Now, I think it's going to start off bad, but will the fans take to that? And this right here opens up an opportunity. It opens up an opportunity for another wrestling company to come in and to be clean and to be something that people can really look at and say, hey, that's what I want my kids to watch. That's what I want my grandmother to sit down and watch with me. Or, this is something that I want to teenagers to watch with me. And it's something great, because I'm telling you, great storylines will always be profanity, women taking their clothes off and things like that. Yeah, that's going to get a certain segment and everything. But like I say, people like women that leaves things to the imagination. They really do. Hey, I have no problem with the way women are dressing right now, going to the ring. But if you want to take off certain things and act like you want to take off their bra and do everything like that, hey, I understand. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with it. And that's the reason I turned off wrestling before. Slapping women, body slamming them, doing all kind of crazy stuff that they was doing. I wasn't with that. So, yeah, I bowed out during the Attitude Era. That was not my thing. So I understand what you're saying, Jordan. All right, 20th Charity Kind Master CSX. Did you see my new intro and outro that I made? Yes, sir, I did see that. And I will use that here and there. All right, Jordan Payne, Attitude Era reboot. Yes, sir. Jordan Payne, 0 taste, 0 calories, too much sex related stuff, awful. Yeah, no doubt, Jordan. No doubt. All right, AJ Skills. Hey, Harry, at WWF Attitude Era of the 90s, the Ruthless Aggression Era of the 2000s. AJ Skills. Hey, Harry, Friday Night SmackDown is tonight live. Jordan Payne, like Edge and Lita in the bed discussing crazy, to me more like rated R or X rated. Yes, sir. No doubt about that. No doubt. But yeah, let's get back, man, to this wrestling offering tournaments. Okay, first, like I say, first thing you do when you turn on wrestling today, first thing you see, these guys are having these long interviews, and so many people. It's not just your main players in wrestling, and that's another thing we're going to get to too, because neither company, AEW for maybe couple weeks here and there, a few weeks sometime here and there, they have established who their stars are. WWE, they have did it every now and then for a couple months at a time, but they still have not solidified who's the stars and who's not. And that is a problem, man. That definitely is a problem. So that's reason. That's one of the reasons. Wow. Give me just a second, guys. Give me just a minute. I gotta get this phone call. Definitely got to get this phone call. All right, sorry, had to get that phone call. They just issued a severe thunderstorm warning, severe thunderstorm warning for Greenville County. So I definitely had to get that. But yeah, let me get back to it. But yes, they talk to everybody. Especially AEW, people that's not even stars, that they have not built up to be stars. Now they have tried to build these guys to be stars. A lot of people try to, to be a star, but it have not cultivated into them being a star because of the 50-50 booking. Or sometimes you will have somebody who look like they're getting over, then they got them at a 70-30 booking, and you can't do that. You really can't. So, man, you have a hard time doing that. So, wow. So, yes, we have these. We have a bunch of chatter. We have a bunch of interviews. And that's one thing that wrestling is offering us. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the tournaments. How many tournaments are we going to have, guys? Just how many tournaments are we going to see in wrestling? Every time I turn around, there's a tournament. And it's a tournament for some title. Don't have these tournaments and then turn around and those titles mean nothing. That you do nothing with the titles. You put the titles on somebody, especially these tag team titles. That's what it's mainly about. And a couple times women's championships here lately, but they go out and they don't defend them against anybody, or if they do, they defend them once or twice within a 2-month period. Don't give me that. Don't give me that, because you made your tournament null and void. Null and void. It didn't mean anything, and that's what wrestling. That's another thing wrestling giving us today. They're giving us these tournaments, and do these tournaments mean anything at the end of the day? No, they don't mean jack. They don't mean jack, snap, straight up. They don't mean anything, because you're not giving me anything, because those tournaments are not evolving into anything great, guys. Because if I see somebody win a tournament, man, whoa, man, he ran the table. He ran the table. He beat a lot of greats to get to the point, to get to that point, to get to that championship. He had to beat a lot of great people, or she had to beat a lot of great people to get to that tournament. And let's see who's going to be first in line for the championship. Hey, are you going to defend it against the number 1 contender first, or are you going to go all the way to the back and defend it against the number 10 contender, or defend it against the number 15 contender, who is basically a jobber, and build up from there? Tell those people they got to step to the back of the line. Man, that's when you do something special with the championship that you won. Give me that. And neither company is giving us that, guys. Neither company is giving us that. And we've seen multiple tournaments in the last 6 to 7 months. We've seen multiple tournaments in WWE, AEW, and TNA. Jack, every time I see him, it just makes me sick. I turn on the TV. Another tournament. Somebody get those titles, and they sit on those titles. They sit on them. Nothing's happening, because nobody has anything creative for them. They just throwing out things right now. Just throwing out things. Man, what can we do? And it's basically a distraction. It's a distraction, if you ask me. It is. It takes away from everything else. It takes away from what they should be concentrating on. And that's giving us storylines, giving us great matches, but giving us storylines, giving us something that's worthy, guys, of our attention. Oh, guys, wow. Give me a second here. Okay, I'm still here, but all right, I need to check something out here, guys. But yeah, I'm having a thunderstorm warning. I think it's messing with my Wi-Fi here. So let me check in. Hopefully you guys are seeing me clear. But yeah, it's messing with the satellite outside. I got that AT&T. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I can see. It's going a little slow here. Going a little slow, but that's okay. Let me check out something here. All right, but yeah, that's exactly what we're getting. That's exactly what we're getting, guys. We are getting wrestling tournaments, specialty matches, monthly pay-per-views, constant mic chatter, and interviews. That's what we're getting in wrestling today. Hopefully, Chris will be here soon. Guys, I'm waiting for him. I'm definitely waiting for him. So let me check out something here. Because I'm having trouble here. But yeah, I need them to offer me more, man. I need to be offered more than, like I said, wrestling tournaments, specialty matches, monthly pay-per-views, monthly PLEs, constant mic chatter, and interviews. Give me a little bit more. Give me a little bit more. And I'm not saying, hey, you got to give me better matches because, hey, I've seen a lot of great matches in the last 3 years. Not just in the WWE, not just in NXT, not just in AEW, not just in TNA, not just in NWA. I have seen great matches in the indies, guys. Incredible matches in the indies. So, hey, I have no problem with the match sets. I definitely don't. I think there's a lot of great matches, but when it boils down to it, what are those matches going to mean at the end of the day? What are they going to mean? Are those matches going to be something that we're going to look to later on down the road and say, hey, man, that was outstanding. Did you see that? What in the world's going on here? Man, I don't know what in the world's going on with my. I got some technical difficulties going on, guys. But yeah, are we gonna look at these matches like we look at a Nikita Koloff down the road? Nikita Koloff against the Koloffs against the Road Warriors. Look at that. Are we gonna look at these matches like we look at Rock and Roll Express versus Midnight Express, guys? Are we gonna look at it like that? I don't know. I have no clue. I do not think so. I do not think they are making classics like that today. I know they're not. And there was somebody, in my opinion, that they was building up, and he's bigger than life, just like the Stars were back in the day. And they shut him down. And we'll talk about that too in just a moment. But yeah, I want to check what's going on with my wow. Check out what's going on with my YouTube, guys. Because it's acting up. It's not acting right. All right, just 1 second here. All right. Things are not going well for me right now. All right, just 1 second, guys. I'm going to go off. That way I will come back on, but I'm going off and just go on the microphone. Okay. All right, Max Savage, I'm going to be able to make it. All right, my man Max Savage, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. We have a great show coming up tomorrow, too. A great show we got coming up tomorrow. That's going to be basically a private show, PWF CWA show. Tomorrow, Chris and I, we will be down, man. We have a great show coming on. And, Max, I hope that you went into the chat room and saw how your match is going to go down and see who that you matching up against. All right, straight up. But let me go ahead and get these comments here. Let me go and get every comment that I haven't got. All right, let's see. Let me go back up a little bit. Jordan Page, okay. Yeah, like Edge and Lita, I just read that in the bed discussing crazy to me, more like rated R and X. Tomorrow, Money in the Bank going to be hardcore. Okay, WWE J-Rock, we'll see what happens there. All right, will you be doing a show? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will be doing Money in the Bank. Max Savage says I'm going to be able to make it. I'm not going to. Oh, you said I'm not going to be able to make it. Sorry, man. Goodness sake. Max, hit me up, man, on a private message. Let me know what's up. Goodness sake, man. Goodness sake. Because I definitely need you. But sorry about that, guys. Yeah, because this thing is messing up on me. So I just had to get off of, I wanted to go ahead and get off of camera right now because it's messing me up. But wow. But yeah, Max Savage, hit me up on private message, man. Please. Straight up. All right, let me get back onto this thing. All right. All right. So yeah, all right, guys, I am back. And yes, like I said, guys, I am waiting for Christopher Burton. It's been over 30 minutes, man. But like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this thing off myself. If he comes on, he comes on. If not, he does not. Because, look, I cannot mess up the strategy and what I want to talk about here. So I'm just going to continue to go on and finish this thing out. But, yeah, let me go and talk about it. Yeah, wrestling tournaments, that's what we've been offered in wrestling. We've been offered tournaments, like I said, specialty matches in AEW. Nobody's better than AEW. And one thing I'm tired of, as far as a specialty match, is the 6-man tag team matches, the 8-man tag team matches, the scramble matches, all that garbage when everybody and their mama and their daddy, their sister, their brother, little babies, everybody crawling into the ring. I am sick and tired of that. I'll get to that, Max. I'll get to that a little bit later. But that's one thing that we're seeing, guys. And you know why? You know why we're seeing that? Because they are too lazy to build a real tag team division. Nobody has the, I'm not going to sit here and say the mental acuity or nobody has the creative sense to sit down and build a real tag team division. Tag teams can't look strong when they don't have nobody to defend them against. They can't. They cannot. And man, yeah. Offer me something more there. Give me great tag teams. Give me tag teams that I can remember like the Rock and Roll Express. Give me tag teams I can remember like the Midnight Express. Give me tag teams like the Steiner Brothers. Give me tag teams like Harlem Heat. Give me tag teams like the Road Warriors. Give me tag teams like the Anderson Brothers, Ricky Steamboat, Jay Youngblood. Give me tag teams that's going to mean something down the road. Give me a Jack and Jerry Briscoe. And give me tag teams that can be competitive against these tag teams. I'm talking about build me a roster of tag teams that can go after these other tag teams and go after their championship belts and make everybody look good. Make everybody look good. Make everybody look legendary. Give me that, guys. That's what I'm asking for, straight up. That's all I'm asking. All right, and then, man, and like I said, already talked about these specialty matches. And, wow, Tony Khan have taken every specialty match imaginable and pretty much turned it into where it don't mean anything. And monthly pay-per-views, PLEs. I get tired of that because look, one thing about those things back in the day, they will build up to those. It might go 4 months or whatever. They building up to that pay-per-view. But now they don't build up to it. They within matches within a month or whatever. And they say, hey, we got this thing coming up. Everybody takes their focus off the chase, somebody who's supposed to be chasing something, and everybody goes into watching that what's going to happen on that premium event or pay-per-view or whatever. That's what their focus go to. That's exactly what their focus go to. It goes off of everything else that's supposed to be happening, the main core issues of what's supposed to be happening in wrestling, and it goes to that pay-per-view that's coming up. Sad, man. Sad. And you know the reason they do it? You know the reason they do it? Because it takes the pressure off of them of doing what's right weekly. That they got to do this weekly. They got to be able to hold your attention weekly, give you something great weekly, build up something weekly. But if you focus every other place, you focused on Money in the Bank, you focused on Survivor Series, you focused on the SummerSlam, you focused on WrestleMania instead of what's going on as far as a storyline that should go week to week in those weekly shows, then they got you, man. They got you. Because you got to think about all the people who will not be able to see the pay-per-view. And they got to watch highlights or find out what went on at that show. But, man, I don't know, man. It's just flat out crazy. And like I said, constant mic chatter. That's another thing that they're offering. Constant mic chatter. I don't mind guys getting on the mic, but I don't want to hear from everybody. I don't want to hear from everybody. I do not want to hear from Daddy Magic. I don't. He's not a superstar. Yeah, I want to hear from Will Ospreay. I want to hear from who else was in, they're not in AEW no more. But when they was there, I wanted to hear from CM Punk. He's a superstar. Wanted to hear from MJF. He's big. He's a superstar. I want to hear from Edge. But you know what? I could care less if I hear from Danny Garcia or not. Do I think he's good? He's very good, but I really don't care to hear from Danny Garcia. Do I want to hear from Stokely Carmichael? No, not really. Not really. He's a decent manager, but he's not really good. He's not really good. I like hearing from Don Callis, but do I want to hear from everybody in his stable? No. Find your stars, pick them out, just like they used to do back in the day. And wow, I just don't know, man. I don't know. And see, wrestling back in the day. Let's go ahead and talk about this. And why I'm talking about this as far as wrestling offering tournaments, specialty matches, monthly pay-per-views, constant mic chatter and interviews. You know the reason they do this is to take the pressure off of them so they don't have to establish. One thing that both companies still hasn't established since we've had the Straight Up Wrestling Show off and running. Neither one of them has established their superstars, guys. Establish who your superstars are. I can go all the way back to the 70s, man. Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. And this right here, I'm talking about a regional promotion. Regional promotion that reached the Carolinas and Virginia. And they on satellite, I think they reached out up to New York, New Jersey, sometime in Philadelphia or something like that. They did get out to other local areas, but it was a local regional territory. And even in the 70s, they was doing over 2 million. They was doing more fans, drawing more fans weekly than what AEW draws now. In the 80s, man, late 80s, they was drawing over 4 million. They was drawing like 4.2 million on syndicated TV shows on Saturday mornings, guys. Saturday mornings. And you know what? I can go back to the 70s. I knew who the stars were. When I turned on TV, I knew who the stars were. I knew the mid-card guys. I knew who the jobbers were. I knew who the great tag teams were. And I'm gonna go ahead and start off in the mid 70s. I'll tell you who the stars were. Straight up. Man, goodness sake, boy, you done missed all the good stuff. I've been on here 38 minutes.
Man, I was getting set up. I was had all kind of other stuff going on. What's going on, everybody, man?
Not much, man. What's up?
But yeah, we talked about this earlier, Harry, man. See, and I'm gonna just cut to the chase, man. You asking for too much, man.
Man, you tripping, man.
You asking for too much, man.
No, man. No.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. See, you're still living in the 70s to 89. That's where you living at, man. That's your time frame. And you want wrestling to be in that box. You out
your flipping mind, man. Look, the football didn't change in football, did it? Did the football change? Did it change? Hey, did the football change? Man, do they still run the football? Do they still throw and catch?
Man, come on, man.
No. Hey. Football changed, like I say, rules changed. They started running different offenses and things like that. But football's still basically the same thing. And people don't go crowd in and see it. But it's basically the same thing. Now, they did take out some of the tougher rules and everything, as far as the way people hit. Man, but don't come with that. Don't come with that, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I watch basketball, man. I don't see people jumping off the dog on top of the turnbuckle and dunking the ball. I don't see that, Christopher Burton. I don't see that. I don't need that. You understand what I'm saying? To entertain me in wrestling. Now,
I told you want 45 minutes of headlocks and spinning toe holds.
No. I've stated that we've seen great wrestling matches, Chris. We have seen 5-star. We just saw a 5.5-star match this past weekend, last weekend. That match between the Black Pimp and the doggone and who else? The Black Pimp and the doggone Ocean Spray guy, man, from England. We saw that. Will Ospreay, the doggone Swerve Strickland, the swerving guy. We saw a great match, 5.5 stars. I have no problem with a great match. Give me great matches, but give me stars. Give me stars, man. It's Will Ospreay.
You got a star, man. You got a star. You got Will Ospreay and Mercedes Moné. There you go. There you go. There you go. Now, Harry, from what you're seeing, are those two not their top stars?
That's their top stars, man. But are they household names, Chris? And I'm talking about. I'm not
one
talking
of
about
one of them is
where Mercedes Moné is a household name because of Disney.
In WWE.
But to tell you the truth, though, just how many people can you pick out? Let's go right. You and I can go downtown Greenville right now, and 30 people walk past us, and we say, "Hey, you guys know Mercedes Moné? How many of them you think will know her?"
Oh, not a lot.
Out of that 30, probably 2 or 3 might say, "I know her." So it's not a household name. But if 30 walk past us back in Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair's, they say, "Hey, you guys know Ric Flair? We was downtown." How many people out of 30 will say, "I know"? Hell yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan really wasn't, he was big up north and everything, big in the country. But how many people out of that 30 will say, "Yeah, I know the name Hulk Hogan"? All of them, probably.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. These people are household names. These people are car carrier names or whatever. When you get in your car, everybody in that car is gonna know who Hulk Hogan is, who Ric Flair was, who Randy Savage was, who the Road Warriors were. Even people up north that really didn't get to see him before they went up to WWE, before Legion of Doom went up there, they knew who the Road Warriors were. They knew who the Midnight Express was. They knew who the Rock and Roll Express was. So that's what I'm talking about. These guys were superstars, and they were set superstars. They were set in stone. Can the WWE build that now? Yes, they can. But Triple H have decided to take Vince McMahon's playbook and roll with it. He's rolling with it. Nobody's going to be bigger than the company because, man, we see what he's doing, Chris. He's got that 50-50 book, and he's got it on lock. Should AJ Styles be a major star? Yes.
He should be, but how much love he got in the tank to give?
He doesn't have much in the tank, man, but you got a couple years from him if they give it to him. But Chris, the 3 years, they just done beat this man down. Man, Gunther was on his way. Gunther was the quintessential terror threat, man, in wrestling. Guy was killing each other. I mean, he was killing people. But what are they doing now? They decided to push him to the side. And now, man, they got a charging Braun Breaker that they building up. They are building. Hey, look, Braun is a star. You can look at him and tell he's a star. But how long would that go? When that Joker get to Brock Lesnar status, hey, man, we're going to have to humble you, bro. And they humbled him already. They humbled him one time. They took the title off of him in NXT. Yeah. They humbled him, dropped him down. So that's what I'm trying to say. Hey, what is wrestling really offering us, Chris? And I already asked you earlier, man. Outside, can you name? And I want anybody in the comments to tell me what's been great. 3 years now. I'm going for 3 years. Me and Chris been doing this since June 12th, 2021. Tell me the great things in wrestling that 10 years from now everybody's going to be talking about. The great things that done happen. And the only thing I can really say is Roman had the title for a long time. Cody Rhodes was able to finish his run. He was able to get that title. He had a year, and that was great. That was great storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
He won that title. But outside of those two things now, and the bloodline storyline. But outside of those 3 things right there, tell me what else have we gotten that's been great, that's been outstanding, that we can hang our hat on and say, this is the reason that I cut the flipping TV on week after week. This is the reason. This is why I could go down to the barbershop and I could brag to each and every one of those players that like to watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the San Francisco 49ers, the New England Patriots, the Boston Celtics, the New York Yankees. I mean, the whoever, Chris, the New York Mets, the whatever team, man. San Francisco Giants or whatever. Whoever, or the New York Islanders in hockey, whatever. This reason I can go and I can get into these sports conversations and say my wrestling is just as good as your doggone Tiger Woods out there on that golf course. My wrestling is just as good as doggone, that NASCAR that you turn on every single week. But hey, we don't do that as wrestling fans because you know why, Chris? Because we can't do it. But back in the day, man, we can doggone argue anytime. We can get in and talk with anybody about, hey, they sitting there talking about, hey, I love football, man, and this Saturday I'm gonna be watching Oklahoma Sooners versus the Texas Longhorns, and we come in there and say, hey, man, Ric Flair and Sting gonna be on this Saturday. I gotta watch Ric Flair against Sting. You know it too, and those football fans we talking to, they are gonna know who Ric Flair and Sting. They're gonna know who they are, and they'll be like, for real, man, they wrestling this Saturday on TBS. You know that, but we can't go on there and say, man, hey, Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy gonna be taking on Will Ospreay for the international heavyweight championship this Saturday, man. Why the Alabama Crimson Tide is playing the LSU Tigers? We can't say that. We can't do that. They're gonna look at us like the Martians, man. They'll be like, "Oh, you flipping?" I'm not gonna turn on that.
Man, it's just a. I mean, everything has changed, man. Like what we obviously know.
Yeah,
but it's just a different culture, different people, and everything, man. So everything is just. It's just one of them things, man. It's just I don't know, man.
Man, look,
it's just one of them things where you just gotta lay with the punches, man, and just be thankful that wrestling's still around, almost, man.
Oh, I'm glad it's around, but that's the thing is, are we settling? That's what I should have named this. Oh, we settling. We are settling. Okay, we turn on TV. They're giving us tournaments, so we have to settle for it. We have to as wrestling fans. We selling for what they're giving us. We have got to sit down and we're buying it. We're buying it. And can the wrestling fans do something about it? Yeah,
but
pretty much.
Okay, and think about this, man. And think about this now. How many people gonna turn on Peacock this Saturday, tomorrow, and watch Money in the Bank?
Oh, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot.
Worldwide.
Oh yeah, worldwide. But I want to ask you a question. I can tell you what it will beat that tomorrow. If the Indiana Fever are playing basketball tomorrow, those females, Caitlin Clark, I guarantee you she will outdraw that Money in the Bank tomorrow. I guarantee it. Because you know why? Because she's on the last pay-per-view they had. The Indiana Fever what was the last pay-per-view WWE had?
What was it? Clash in the Castle.
Yeah, that was a women's basketball game. They outdrew that game. I mean, they outdrew that Clash of the Castle. So that's I'm saying, of course, you're gonna have people do that, but man, God Almighty, man, goodness sake. I mean, we are looking at wrestling fans, Chris, as a collective. We're looking at wrestling fans as a collective, and yes, worldwide. I'm not saying she did it worldwide because I'm talking about in the United States. That basketball game did like 2.7 million, something like that. It was huge. Yeah. It was huge. But Clash of the Castle did, it does astronomical numbers worldwide. But in the United States, it's not going to beat that. WNBA has caught it. Yeah. There's a problem there. It's a problem, straight up. And the WNBA is beating SmackDown. SmackDown is getting 1.9 million right now. SmackDown was getting over 2.2. Always got between 2.1 to 2.4 million. Now it's down to 1.9 million. And this is after The Rock came back and said, "Hey, I made it cool again. He made it cool again, and now it's done dropped." Is it Cody Rhodes' fault? No, it's not Cody's fault. It's not Cody's fault. Because wrestling is not offering us anything. Cody is not the one in there making the matches. Cody is not in there writing storylines. That's what I'm saying. Wrestling, that's what they offering us, Chris. They offering us tournaments. And you can dispute this. What are they offering us? Tournaments, specialty matches, monthly pay-per-views, PLEs, constant mic chatter and interviews. I have no problem with the constant mic chatter and interviews when it boils down to it. But every time I turn around, every time me and you turn on the TV, and sometimes we miss a couple shows. We turn on the TV, and then there's another tournament going on, which you and I didn't even know about. And you and I, we're right. We're closer than just about anybody to what's going on in wrestling. We didn't even know about it. When we turn on AEW, there's a tournament going on. We turn on NXT, there's a tournament going on. We're like, wow, man, wow. Just how many tournaments can you shove down my throat? Just how much can you give me? And the
what other way can you fight for a vacant title and try and at the same time try to get most of your prominent stars airtime?
Look, you definitely look. That's a good way to fight for a title, Chris. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Of course, a vacant title. They always had tournaments. One thing that they used to do back in the territorial days, a lot of times those tournaments would be like fake tournaments, out at a house show or whatever. It actually didn't happen or whatever, or they have a small tournament so they don't have to go through all the mumbo jumbo and they put the titles on who they want to put them on. But when you have a tournament, and they have a tournament, they let it play out. When you actually have that tournament and that team runs the table, then that team should be able to construct something to where that team can say, okay, they didn't face everybody in this tournament, so we can set up an order. We can set up an order of where these people are in the top 8. These are the top 8. These are the top 8 contenders for that title. And then you have these guys, they can make a decision to go ahead and defend the titles against the number 1 contender that they ended up beating for the titles, or they can say, okay, you guys dropped all the way back to the line, and then they can go all the way back to the 8th contender, and then go all the way up for the next 2 months and run the table again. That's right there. It's creating the storyline, Chris. That's what's making them look good. That's what's making them look strong. That's just like you. Why do you tune into the Philadelphia Eagles every week, Chris? Why do you do that during the season? Last season, I'm gonna say, why did you do that?
Guys, man, that's my team, man. They went undefeated just about almost all of the year before.
Exactly.
Went to the Super Bowl, and I want to see if they can do it again.
Exactly. Is wrestling giving us that? Okay. Let's see. The Acclaim won the tag team championships, Chris. Are we? Man, wow. I love that they won the tag team championships. And the Young Bucks is the number 1 contenders. Young Bucks are dying to get their hands on that championship. The Acclaim tells them, hey, you're gonna have to fight your way to the top to get to it. And say the Acclaim is like a playoff. Hey, you might meet them in the playoffs, or you in the same division that they're in. And they'll say the Young Bucks, and let's see, Trent Beretta and Charles Taylor, Chuck Taylor. Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor is number 2 contenders. The Young Bucks have to get to Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. They had to go to the back of the line, go back to like the 8th or 9th contender, and then fight their way up to the number 2 contender. And so those two fight for the number 1 contendership to be able to fight the Acclaim. That's what you look forward to say, man, I want to see. And the Young Bucks is kicking butt. I'm talking about they are kicking butts and taking names like the Rock and Roll Express. When they had to go to the back of the line to get back to Arn Anderson and Tully, because you know how Arn and Tully was, they defeated you. They were like, you going to here. So the Rock and Roll Express, they went back and beat up Ron Bass and Black Bart. They went back and they beat up the Nasty Boys. They went back and fought people all the way up. They beat up Thunderfoot 1 and 2 until they got to the Midnight Express for that number 1 contendership to fight for that world championship. They used to do that. And you tuned in every week to see that team fight and struggle for that. That's the same thing, just like you watching your football team. You watching your football team. When they took a loss or two, you like, I got to see you next week if they can come back. And then you come back and you brag and you all about that. Why can't we come back and tell everybody all about our boys, man? Our boys, man. Gunther came back. He showed you people who he was, man. Bobby Lashley came back, man. He showed you what you guys were laughing last week. But I told you what my boy was gonna do. I told you what my boy was gonna do. When are wrestling gonna give us that? Why they're not offering us that? Now, as far as tag teams, they're definitely not doing that. They focusing everything on the guys who holds the world titles when it boils down to it. And they focusing on their women's world champions, but WWE now the women's world champion is over there just to hold the title and come up with some crazy storyline. First it was what's her name? Rhea. What was she? What did she offer us? When it boils down to it, she defended that title. Only a few times. Yeah. She was the forerunner for Judgment Day. What is Liv Morgan doing?
Holding it till Rhea gets back and making a play for Dom. That's what they're giving us. That's what they're giving us. And so I'm saying, do they deserve our time, man, when it boils down to it? Do they deserve all the time that the wrestling fans give them and all the money that we give them for them to give us this week in and week out? And that's like I say, man, can somebody tell me, and Christopher Burton, in the last 3.5 years,
outside of the Bloodline story, Roman having that belt for a long time, and Cody Rhodes completing this story. Can anybody tell us what else has been great in wrestling? Don't come up with MJF because he failed it. It failed what he tried to do.
Well, man, come on.
Judgment Day's been decent. But Chris, you got to give me something. My man, what's going on, Wayne? Wayne Cochran, what's going on, my brother? But Chris, let's go ahead and get some comments, man. Let's see. All right, Max, I got you, man. Max said I texted you. All right, you're not going to be able to make it. All right, let's see. Cody Rhodes today, I don't know who is a star in AEW. Yeah, Cody Rhodes is Cody. When it boils down to it, yeah, who are the stars? Who are the stars? And we're gonna go over some, Chris. I want you to think back, and I'm gonna think back too. But we're gonna go over the stars, the established stars back in the day, and who are established in. We got two companies, man. Two companies who are really established stars and who's not. All right, let's see. Matthew Hollins. Hi, John Witherspoon and Mr. Calvin. What's going on, man?
Tripping, boy.
All right, Wayne, you always tripping, man. What's going on? But listen, in the WWE, okay, AEW, only a few weeks at a time, they have shown me who was their established stars, and then it switches up all the time. They did it all the time. WWE have went for a few months in the 3 years we've been around where they showed us who the established stars. And when I'm talking about established stars, man, let me go back to the mid-70s. I can turn on men.
See, they back in that box again. You gotta go back in that box.
I'm making a comparison, Chris.
Okay.
I can go back to the mid-70s. I know I turned on my TV. And these are the stars, 75 to 77, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. These are the stars that I could tune into and knew that I was going to see it every week. Man, when you turn on football, who is the stars of the day, Chris? Give me the top 7 teams in football today, NFL football. Go ahead. I know you can name them all. The top
Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, just because who they are.
Mm-hmm. San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, 49ers. Let me see who else has got that popularity. That's what, 5 right there?
That's 4. You gave me 4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what did I give you? New England. I mean, not New England. Who I said? Philly, San Fran, Kansas City, Dallas. Who else? There's somebody else. There's some more teams, man.
There's some more teams. There's no ends and buts about that. Buffalo. Let's see.
Yep. Buffalo, yes. Yeah, that's Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, that's 5. That's 5.
That's 5.
Okay. When I turn on Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, here's the stars of 1975 to 1977. Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Nature Boy Ric Flair. Black Jack Mulligan. You tripping. Black Jack Mulligan. Let's see. Kimber. And that's 5 right there. But I'm going to name a couple other people. Rufus R. Jones was in that group. And Baron Von Raschke. That's 7 people. Those are the top stars on Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. Tag teams. The Anderson brothers. Paul Jones and Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Let's see. Jack and Jerry Briscoe. Mr. Wrestling Tim Woods. And Jumping Jim Brunzell. Those are 4 tag teams in a region. This is a region, Chris. A regional territory. Okay? Every time I turn on TV, I knew those guys were going to be the main players. Oh, fast forward to 77 to 79. I turn on Mid-Atlantic Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. Who was the superstars? Nature Boy Ric Flair. Ricky the Dragon. I mean, it was Ricky, not Ricky the Dragon at the time. Ricky Steamboat. Roddy Piper. Let's see. Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Black Jack Mulligan was still in the mix. Angelo Moscow. King Kong. We call him King Kong Moscow. Abdullah the Butcher. You know, who's the tag teams? Let's see. Jimmy Snooker. Paul Orndorff. Let's see. Sergeant Slaughter. Don Cronuto. I mean, you know, the list goes on and on.
What about Superstar Billy Graham? But he was in the Kung Fu Man.
He wasn't in Mid-Atlantic at that time. But I'm just saying, I could turn on my TV back in the mid-'80s, man, when we was watching Jim Crockett Promotions, the NWA. And it was still Mid-Atlantic, called Mid-Atlantic at that time in Georgia Championship. Who was the stars, Chris? We can name them off, man. We can name them off. Nikita Koloff, Lex Luger, Sting.
Oh, yeah, the Horsemen. All the Horsemen.
Yeah, all the Horsemen. The Road Warriors, Midnight Express. These are all in the same. This is all in the same company. Midnight Express, Let's see. Yeah, Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express. Then come Harlem Heat. Harlem Heat. How many doggone tag teams were vying for the title? Even though I thought it was a little weaker at that time, you still Harlem Heat had it as competitions. They had the Steiners. They had the Nasty Boys. They had Ron Fuller and Eddie Gibbert. They had a lot of teams that was vying for that. You even had Sting and Lex Luger that was teaming at that time coming forward. You had Jimmy Garvin and Michael P.S. Hayes. So
what would you do? What would you do, man, if they gave you the keys to AEW or WWE? What would you do? Being in this day, age, and climate, man, what would you do to make sure that, okay, everybody knows these are our stars and this is how we getting y'all into these households that don't watch wrestling?
Well, first thing is you take your star wrestler and you make him, you got to make your star wrestler. You got to make your world champion seem invincible, man. That's the first thing you do. He's got to take out everybody. And he's got to have a formidable, he's got to have a person that defeated everybody, that beat everybody. Remember Mr. T? Let's take Mr. T for instance.
Yeah.
Mr. T in Rocky. Why was Mr. T? Why did his popularity jump so quickly? This is a movie that was made or whatever, but it's realistic when it boils down to it. Why did his popularity grow so fast, move so quickly, and he got in the public eye? Because he was ranked number one. Remember when the show started, when the movie started, what was he doing? Knocking out everybody.
Yeah.
On his way to that title shot. And Mickey didn't want to give it to him. But he knocked out everybody. What happened there? So good, you couldn't ignore him. And then he went to and he called the man out. That used to happen in wrestling all the time, Chris. He called him out. Said, you can't be ducking me forever. Man, when Hardy Race had that title, that world championship, God, man, there was guys out there him like flipping crazy. And I remember Ric Flair coming up. Remember Ric Flair, all the stuff that he had to go through to get to that title, Chris. And then when he finally got his title shot, even a second run when he was going for that Flair for the gold. Remember everything he had to do. He had a bounty put on his head. Hardy Race, take the damn money. Take the damn money. Bob Orton and Dick Slater came after this man hard as they could. Put the man in the hospital. Ric Flair had to run that table. You take somebody like Gunther who lost his Intercontinental Championship. You have Gunther. Gunther, how long he's unlost? Sami Zayn had that, about 6 weeks, 7 weeks?
Yeah.
Gunther should be on a run right now to get the doggone Cody Rhodes. Gunther could have said, he should have went out there and said, forget about that damn Intercontinental Championship. I've already proven myself. You got lucky. I'll deal with you later on. I'm looking. He don't even have to say that. He doesn't even have to say anything about the Intercontinental Championship. Everybody knew how long he held it. You go out there and you beat up everybody. You start from the bottom to the top. For the past 6 weeks on SmackDown and join a few Raws. For like the last 9 shows that he's been on, eliminate everybody. Dog them out, Chris. And then come to Cody Rhodes and say, hey, it's me and you at Money in the Bank or the next premium live event. You make everybody see what you're doing. You smash everybody on the way to that championship. And then, and during that time while he's doing that, you making your champion look strong. Your champion needs to look strong in interviews. Your champion needs to look, what comes out of his mouth is invincible. He defeats people.
So you say Damian Priest isn't a good champion then?
I'm not saying Damian Priest is not a good champion, but I'm saying he's coming out to Cody's champion. Cody is the world champion. Damian Priest is the world champion too, but Cody's is a little bit higher placed than Damian's is right now. Now Gunther can come after Damian. Either one. But what you have to do is you got to make that champion look stronger. I don't know what. And see, Damian is making a play for Judgment Day. Now, Damian can look stronger than what he is now, but what he's doing, he's covering for He's covering for the Judgment Day's foolishness, man. That's what he's doing. They do stupid stuff, and he's like, God almighty. So he's basically the king of what they're doing. But the thing is this, to make him look stronger is he got to have them guys in place all the time. And what they supposed to be doing right now, at least right now, a little bit later on, you can F up. At least right now, those guys need to be on point with every single thing that they do in and out of that ring. They don't need to be messing up. They don't need to be, they don't need to be, they need to be dominant. They need to be the dominant. You don't need to have a bloodline coming in and doing their thing. Judgment Day should be the focus because you know why? The Judgment Day has a world champion. Bloodline don't have a world champion. So you make Judgment Day look stronger, but you make Damian Priest look like he's a stronger guy in that group. So, but WWE don't have as much of a problem. You know why? Because WWE is the WWE. The infrastructure, everything has been built up so much that they don't try as hard, Chris. But now is the time, man, where they can kick everybody down and say, "Hey, we are the WWE. We are the dominant thing in wrestling, and we are the stand-up barriers. We are what everybody strive to be. They can make wrestling better if they give it their all, give it 100. Now, AEW got to establish stars, man. You do not. In establishing stars, as much as I didn't like Warlow, you and I both know this guy was on his way to superstar.
Oh, yeah.
Superstar. But you know what? They crushed it. They crushed it. And how did they crush it, Chris? How did they crush it so fast? Remember what I was saying? What looked bad on him was continuing to beat up bodyguards. Kept beating up bodyguards, and all he did when you beat up those bodyguards and you continue to do it from the chaos. It's chaos. It leads to the chaos, and all the people are going to look at when you're beating up bodyguards is how powerful you are, and they're going to look at and they're going to want you to hit your signature move, and to hit a signature move, the power bomb, over and over and over again. He's going to do it again. He's going to do it again. But after a while, when you look at something like that, you're going to start looking for anything. You look at a quarterback. If we see a quarterback out there, Chris, and all he can do is throw the bomb, we know he's not going to hit the bomb every time because there's going to be somebody out there. There's going to be some defense backs that's going to stop it. But every now and then he hits the bomb, okay? But the man can't throw short passes. He's not accurate with short passes. So that's where the substance come in. Can you hit the short passes? Can you hit the button routes? Can you do this consistently? The small things, man. Do you have the good footwork? Are you able to escape the pocket and run and get out of bounds when we need you to? Do you have that speed to be able to do that? Can you lead my team outside of throwing the ball hard, throwing the ball 80 yards down the field and hitting somebody on a jump ball every now and then? Can you do that? Can you give me that? Can you give me that? So, you start looking for that substance, man. And that's one thing that
so you're saying wrestling state of wrestling, like I said, man, in my opinion, I think for this day and age of wrestling, you are asking for way too much, man.
No, I'm not, man. No, I'm not.
You and maybe a handful of other people are the only people that actually think like that, man. Out of billions.
Hey, Chris, you ever think, that's the problem? You ever think that's the problem? And look, you can't say billions, man. You know why? Because wrestling does not have billions of fans. It don't. Yeah. Look, Chris, the proof is in the pudding, man. The proof is in the pudding. 1.9 million.
Man. Everybody's gotten used to settling, man.
And that look, we can't continue to say that, Chris, because if you continue to say that every time, if you and me, we own a grocery chain, Chris, and we used to 2,000. Our traffic goes from 2,000 to 1,400 people a day. We was getting 2,000 people a day. 2,000 people a day, and they were spending on average, the 2,000 people that came through, spending $7.35 on average. 2,000 people. Mm-hmm. And 1,400 people started coming through, and they spending that. They still spending that. We lost money, Chris. We're losing money. 600 people not paying that every day. that we was getting. We're losing money, Chris. So we can't sit there in the office and say, hey, pie's getting smaller, Chris. People are selling. People selling, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. You cannot be, what is that word?
Complacent?
Yeah, you can't. You can't. And wrestling can't be like that. Because when you like that, man, it turns into.
Well, it's already too late, man.
You can't say it's too late, Chris. That's the bottom line. You can't say it's too late. See, like I say, man, you're getting into that mindset. Like say,
from what you saying you want to what it is actually is now, it's too late, man.
It's not too late. That's the bottom line. It's not too late, but it can get to that point. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You gonna be saying that all the way to the end, to a stop, it's not around no more. It's too late, man. Look, if the NFL starts stopping games in the middle of the game. The lights start going off in the middle of the game. At the end of the game, you don't see the final play or whatever, the scores or whatever, and they just walk off the field and say, hey, that's it. Like a lot of times we see the lights go off in wrestling and all that. Things start happening. Man, you're going to freak out. You will flip the hell out because you love your wrestling. And you're going to be like, you will be saying, we will write the NFL offices today. As long as that stuff start happening. And say, man, we can't have this. I got to have my football. And you know it, Chris. You know it. You're not going to settle for anything less.
But okay, but I say, but that's a difference in stuff that you expect to happen with certain products versus stuff that you don't expect to happen with certain products. Like the NFL, like the Super Bowl, when they had that blackout with Baltimore and San Francisco, I think it was, or Baltimore something down in New Orleans when the lights went out. You don't expect stuff to happen in a football game like that. You don't expect that. You expect stuff like that in wrestling.
But let me ask you a question, though, Chris. Let me ask you a question.
And then a game of that magnitude, too.
How long you been watching the sport, man?
Which one?
The sport. How long you been watching wrestling? All of it.
Oh, Jesus, man. Since like 83, 84.
Okay, in 83, the WWE up into, let's see, 94. Those 11 years. What was going on in the WWE?
Man, it was cartoon, boy. It was cartoony.
It was cartoony, but what happened to it? It exploded. It kept getting better, better. It kept gaining more and more and more fans. Okay, they had wrestlers. Wrestlers were getting paid good. What happened after the steroid scandal, Chris?
What happened? But damn, boy, they blew up, man.
Things started happening. Stuff started falling off. People start watching and everything. What happened to wrestlers' contracts? What happened to a lot of wrestlers? You got laid off.
Yeah,
not getting paid. What's the name? And when WCW got popular again, and was beating it, what was about to happen, Chris? What was about to happen? What did Vince say?
Man, hey, they had to change.
No. Before he changed, remember he said he thought they was going to shut down. He was ready to shut it down. They was going to think if they would have actually closed it down.
We wouldn't have wrestling right now.
Exactly. And so that's what complacency gets us, Chris. When you complacent, when you go with the status quo, that's what it gets us.
So you saying a lot of people got the Eric Bischoff mindset then? Because that's what happened with WCW.
I'm not saying fans. I'm not saying the fans have that. I'm saying
I ain't talking about I ain't mean the fans. I'm talking about the people in
that's control. Running it. Yeah, a lot of people in control. Yeah, a lot of people in control. We have a lot of Eric Bischoffs. We have a lot of Vince Russos out here running around. We do. And I mean, me and you, we've seen it personally. Out here on the indies.
Mm-hmm.
People got egos and things like that. People, they are not willing to find people that know what they're doing. As far as wrestling. Wrestling has to be built. And it's a hard thing to do, Chris. It is a hard thing to do. Me and you, we know that.
Oh, God. Yeah,
hard thing to do. And you have to deal with egos and you have to deal with people that think they know what they're doing. They think they know what they're doing. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But, can I go out there right now and pretty much promote everything and get it exactly the way I want to? No. Those people are in a different mindset, man. They are in a different mindset. But that's the thing about it. In wrestling or anything, that if you see something going out, you have got to go. You got to find the right-minded people to go out and, hey, influence these people. Say, hey, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this thing is about, guys. Do you guys want to see this thing build up? Why do you think these people, every time we turn it on TV, they're like this past Wednesday? I wish you could have saw it, man. Let's see. It was what match was it? I think it was Will Ospreay against. No, it wasn't Will. It wasn't Will Ospreay. It was Bryan Danielson against. Who did Bryan Danielson wrestle Wednesday night? Bryan Danielson against Pop. They circling around the ring, Chris. Hadn't even touched each other. The crowd was saying, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
Wow.
And Tony Schiavone and Taz said, look, man, they haven't even done anything yet. And I'm going to tell you what, why did all this stuff start? Holy this and this is awesome, all that stuff. That is a battle cry, Chris. That is a chant to the outside world that what they're watching is awesome. That is cool, and you should stop and watch it too. That's what it is. Whether we like to hear it or not, but that's what wrestling fans are doing. Wrestling fans are calling out to the outside world and telling them, watch this. This is awesome, man. This guy's jumping over the ring. He's running, bouncing off the rope. He cutting 3 flips, and he's diving on this guy. They are telling you that stuff is awesome. They're telling you that, hey, they setting up a table. These guys going through it. Holy, it's a chant to grab people's attention. Just like back in the day in football, the terrible towel. The wave. It was a thing for people to look at and say, hey, man, that's cool. I want to be part of that. These wrestling fans today, make no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it that wrestling fans want the world. They want them to enjoy what they like. They want it to be cool. Wrestling fans want to be able to go into a sports bar and say, hey, man, could y'all turn that over on wrestling? Do you see wrestling fans doing that today?
No, man, no.
Could you turn it to wrestling? They're not going to do that. They're going to watch wrestling in their little homes and find people that like-minded like them. They're not hardly even going to talk to anybody in the family about it. That's all it is to it. That's all it is to it. And us who are wrestling fans, the hardcore wrestling fans, like you and I, we're sitting there and we watching it with these people. And like I say, look, me and you, we are doing something about it. We out here, we booking shows, we working with companies.
Yeah.
We doing what we can do. But there's a lot of fans out here, man, that's basically sitting back, relaxing, and saying, hey, this is it. This is what they're offering me. This is what I'm taking. And then they see, and that's the reason I think that these wrestling fans are easily get attached to somebody. They easily get attached to a certain star. And then when that certain star things don't work out for them, they get more hatred and vitriol come out.
Yeah, because it's like they find themselves in that star, man. They see certain qualities in that star.
Yeah,
they either have or they wish they had.
Oh yeah,
and so when their favorite wrestler doesn't get treated right or whatever the case may be, like you said, that's when all hell breaks loose.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So, yeah.
All right, Richard Martinez, we see you, man. Glad that you're in the house. Richard says Cody Rhodes today. I don't know who is a star in AEW. Matthew Holland, yeah, we got all those. We got all those. Yeah. I think we got everything, man. But yeah, I appreciate you coming in, Chris. But yeah, we definitely gonna get off of this, man, because we got SmackDown in a couple hours and everything. So,
man.
But yeah, it's something out. Hey, you offered a good perspective, man. I appreciate you coming in. But wow, I mean,
Harry love that box, boy. You love that box, boy. 70 to 89, boy. That's Harry's box, boy.
Hey, no, it's not just that, man. I'm talking about the 90s was great too. To a certain point, man. I mean, like I said, I can name everybody in the 90s who was stars in both companies.
Well, Harry was like, well, yeah, 90s was great, boy. He was like, I was watching Judah go up against Ric Flair.
Man, you're a trip. Even though I hated the WWE, I could turn on that and I knew who the tag teams were. I knew who was the tag teams and I knew who was vying for the top titles. I remember Demolition having the titles, but I remember who the number one contender.
A long time ago, man, WWE has that formula down packed. They've been doing it for 60-something years. If they don't have it together by now, they ain't never going to get it together.
But the thing is, they're not doing it. They are not doing it. And look, I don't know if it's a lack of creativity or it's just because, look, they don't have to do it, Chris. They don't have to work too hard because that's where specialty matches come in. Tournaments come in, specialty matches, the PLEs, all that comes into play. Because look, you are wondering who's the number one contender. How many people come on and ask us who's the number one contender to Liv Morgan's championship? But by the time we think who's the number one contender, well, guess what's happening? A new PLE is new PLE is coming out. So, I mean, distractions save them all the time. But it's crazy. It's flat out crazy. But yeah, we definitely appreciate everybody coming in. But yeah, Christopher Burton and myself, we are going to get off. Man, this has been a pretty good show. But we will see you guys in a couple of hours, man, for SmackDown. All right. Until then, we will talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Straight up. Peace.